So unfortunately, I'm getting to this after everybody else then got to it, but still got to give my 2 cents because I've covered her on the channel before, and it's one of my biggest videos. So Tracee Ellis Ross talking about dating younger men. Let's get to it. With Michelle Obama and some guy in the middle. Some guy.
Thought process for me. It's one of the reasons, I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner. We had a...
See, when I did my LeBron video with Kevin Gates and stuff like that, and I know we stopping early, but this is necessary so I don't got to go over this again. But when we did the LeBron video and I made a few points, some of y'all was like, oh, Kevin is right, though. She don't look at him, da-da-da-da-da. Y'all don't understand what it's like being a public figure to some extent. Barack is the president. He was the president. It is extremely valuable as, you know, a public figure to any degree, whether you're the mayor or you're the governor or you're the president or you're a celebrity or you're just a popular guy in your city. It is very valuable to have a woman that can just be quiet and play the background, stay silent, stay out of the way, and not do too much weird stuff. Michelle is in her 50s, snapping and clapping. The Tracee Ellis Ross, who is also in her 50s, is dating younger people. Why is that something to celebrate? And this is the thing about it. This is not just any woman. This is the first lady. She was the first lady having a podcast with Tracee Ellis Ross and this guy who is seemingly gay. I don't know, man. But she is applauding her. She is applauding her, snapping it up because she is dating younger men. What is celebratory about? Why is that something to celebrate? We're not going to find out. I've seen this clip 8 million times. They're not going to give any context to that. But it's very funny because, number one, men, you never see men like just celebrate another man getting younger women. You never see that. In most cases, we are indifferent to it. We really don't care. But then you have some people who get on the other end, which is the second point. Like, you know, you have a lot of women who are just like these two, who will see this and do the snapping with Michelle. And they will see a man with a younger woman and try and villainize him, try and say he's a predator, even though the chick is 25, even though the chick is grown as hell, even though the chick pay her own bills. She's a full adult. She is nowhere near 18, 17, none of that. And I know we got some video to get to, but when you really think about it, let's really think about it and do some critical thinking. Why is it a flex or something to celebrate that a woman in her 50s with no kids and no husband, which we know those are benchmarks. We love to talk about how, you know, dudes should be making 6 figures, be 6 foot and all of this stuff. Like everybody, black women especially, love to run around the internet, throwing around their standards, telling guys that they not men because they work at Walmart and stuff like that. Those are benchmarks for older women that they try to like cope with and stuff like that. Matter of fact, let me throw this on the screen real quick. It's a funny little video that I just seen.
As a 52-year-old childless woman, I want to say to the people who think that a woman's worth is measured in her baby count, I mean, shout out to all the amazing mothers, but the childless women have been mothering the world and elevating culture as aunties, godmothers, teachers, mentors, sisters, and friends, and the list goes on. And you do not need to push out a baby to help push humanity forward.
Amen to that.
Just got to keep it a bean. That shit right there, like women be so full of shit because that's just some bullshit. But Deluxe cope. So that's something that we're all aware of. That's her coping in 4K. So let's get back to it. Why is this a flex? The truth is, it's not. It's not because she's getting ran through by younger dudes, but this is what it is. The wall. The wall. These women are way past the wall. So to them, it's an achievement that they are still desirable on some level to younger dudes. You see Naisha Curry jealous of her man. Jealous of her man because she's not getting attention from men and he's getting attention from women. And she's married. She's married to a multimillionaire, and that's the stuff that she's worried about, that she goes and expresses in front of the succubus Jada Pinkett. These podcasts, y'all think, should everybody be like, oh, the Red Pill podcast guys be so bad, they be so bad, but they let all this type of shit slide. And I understand, we haven't even gotten into the video. I'm going to let them rock for a minute once I let it go. But I want to get back to the first point that I made when we did this quick-ass stop. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. What Michelle does throughout this clip is embarrassing when you think about her being Barack's wife. She is embarrassing Barack to some extent. Let's get back to it.
Great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Barish. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracee's.
It's fun. It's very fun to share.
Tracee tales.
But
I'm sorry.
But one of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner.
Quick stop. We not letting that slide. She questioned, what is this about as far as her dating younger dudes? And she said, because I want a partner. She is aware that none of these young guys are going to be her partner. And it solidifies what I said. She is getting ran through like the Boston Marathon finish line by young dudes. That's all this is.
And so often, and it's not just that I'm older, I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that.
Michelle is so into this and so excited about this that it's almost like she wants a younger dude herself. Like she's living vicariously through Tracee, but the excitement is too crazy. Now, this is how weird women are. Just keeping it a bean. Just got to keep it a bean. And just social dynamics. She is on this podcast celebrating a chick getting ran through by youngins. Could you imagine a married man on any podcast, a married man, being excited about another dude running through chicks at all? Running through chicks. It don't matter if they old or young. Could you imagine a married man sitting on a podcast like, who you getting them, boy? Oh, yeah, you're tearing them up. Oh, you be getting the big booty ones up. You can't imagine that. Because women would see it and have a fit. They would have a absolute fit. Guess who else would have a fit? His fucking wife. That's who else would have a fit. It's funny because women have all these standards as far as how men should conduct themselves and and they don't live up to the mirror of the expectations that they have with a lot of their fake outrage, which is in most cases manipulation or just sensitivity. And I don't want to say fragility. I hate that word, but that's what it is. Just sensitivity, insecurity, and things of that nature.
But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity. and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks. And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize, I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again.
You see, toxic masculinity is a buzzword that's meant to encompass like just a bunch of stuff that women don't like. So it really doesn't mean shit. It really doesn't mean shit, and it's not something that you could really rebuttal, because for you to rebuttal, a guy sucked into toxic masculinity, you're just shooting in the dark when somebody says that, because it could encompass whatever they wanted to encompass. It could encompass whatever they wanted to encompass. So we just got to leave that where it's at as far as toxic masculinity, because it's a bullshit term used to describe a myriad, just an endless fucking list of things that women don't like about men, that they try to shame men for, that they try to, and then we get to all this, it's a sassy man apocalypse. Oh, the men ain't men no more. Oh, the death of masculinity in the West, and it'll be women saying this stuff. You'll have men who say this stuff, but it's women who say this stuff. And y'all push this whole toxic masculinity shit like y'all want fucking limp wrist niggas. Like y'all want sassy men. Like y'all want frail dudes. Y'all want emotionally sensitive motherfuckers, when that's not what masculinity is. It's just not. And to prove that point to some degree, emotional men who react out of emotion as far as anger and stuff like that, and do things out of anger, uncalculated, like a lot of those motherfuckers is bitches. But moving past that, we got to look at the things that are more tangible, that we can actually put a hand on, that we can actually look at. That she said controlling. I'm not about to go in about controlling, because no woman, like when it comes down to it, let me not even say no woman. Let me say hoes. This is me keeping it a bean. They love to be chaotic, young, wild, and free. Even when they old, they still want to feel young, wild, and free. That is why she is getting ran through. And if she talks about this being a prize or being a possession, you're a trophy to all the dudes, all the young dudes that you are fucking and that are dipping out. It's just that you don't got to sit with it, because they're not in your face every day as far as you being a prized possession. But some little niggas is somewhere, nigga, I cracked the chick off the sitcom Girlfriends. Like, that's what's going on. And just to touch on control a little bit more, when we talk about submission and things of that nature, I always tell y'all, like, a lot of women are just incapable of doing anything that submission actually looks like to any degree. Like cooperating, being supportive, being agreeable, letting a man be a man. They'll want a leader, but they won't let the man lead. The funny thing about it is women universally want a man that's better than them. We don't got to break that down. We all know that. So, and they know it too, because it comes out in their standards. You'll hear chicks that make 80, bruh, I'm not even about to get into that. Everybody knows this. So I can guarantee you whatever standard she has for an actual man, they're high. I can guarantee you that. We don't got to talk about how she can't get those guys or whatever the case may be, lock them down or nothing like that. But it's just this right here. And you could look at, again, the LeBron Savannah stuff where she's asking him about, why you on the game and stuff like that. Or Kevin Gates saying that she don't look at him like how the white girls look at him and stuff like that. You could look at Bill Gates and Melinda Gates as far as how she used to just clown him all the time. She used to just fucking publicly treat him like he was a fucking goof. Like, it's so much of this going on as far as what I'm about to say. These chicks want a superior man. They want a superior man. Not just superior to them, but somebody that is superior to his peers as well. They want that. They get that. And then they don't want the motherfucker to be in power. They want a leader. They want the superior man, but they still don't want some of these chicks, like I mentioned, who are not built to submit to a man. who are not built to submit to a man. They will want a man that is superior and great. He's an incredible man. But they will treat him like he is just a regular motherfucker. And they will treat him like he shouldn't have provision over her or just anything like that. Like she shouldn't be following his program. Like she should just be doing whatever she wants and gets the benefit of having this great man that is going to protect you, that is going to provide for you, that is overall every aspect better than you. In almost every, because this is the guy you chose. This is the guy you chose, and some dudes are actually winners. But then some chicks like Tracee be so thought it out, they be so ran through, it's impossible for them to let a man take the wheel. Especially when you've been single this long into your 50s and you don't have a child. The whole thing about having a child, I'm not going to go deep on this. Like a lot of chicks with children, at a certain point, they be looking to get saved and stuff like that. Or they just be looking like, okay, I need a companion. I don't need to be doing all this ripping and running. I need somebody to support me while I'm supporting this kid, just all of that stuff. So, and even then, there's a level of responsibility that comes with having a kid. One of the things I noticed as a youngin', and even as I got older into my 20s, probably even my early 30s, I realized, man, when you dealing with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, especially with no kids, they are not used to the level of attention that they are getting. I can't speak for now because, you know, back then the way it used to be, you're really only messing with people in your high school or your side of town for the most part. And then that's really it. With Instagram, it opens up the whole city type shit. And if you live in a major city, it's a whole different ballpark and stuff like that. So it could be different for like some of y'all cats who like, 24 and 26 now because y'all grew up like with the Instagram and all that shit. But the point I'm making as far as what I noticed, these chicks don't be used to getting attention from the whole world. They just used to getting attention from their school and stuff like that. And just dudes that's max 4 years older than them. Now, when they get out, the whole world is open to them. And they're getting attention from every angle so much. They don't know what to do with it. So when I was younger, I never understood why chicks was so wishy-washy, why they play so many games and stuff like that. Number one, they not the attraction that some of these chicks have for you is just moderate or moderately high. It's not absolutely high to where they must see you and they must do something with you in that moment. But the other thing is they are not used to having this many options and they're exploring their options and it's brand new to them and it's so much stimulation. They got ADHD when it comes to the cock and they are just going, bruh, they just cycling through dudes and they got like a roster, not even a roster. It's just like they holding a permanent tryout as far as these younger chicks and stuff like that, right? I'm just giving you an understanding. So all these dudes is trying out. Nobody is really making a team. Somebody might, get red shirted or something like that or make the practice squad, but she don't really got a real team for real. When these chicks get a little bit older and once they get used to the attention, that wishy-washiness slows down. They begin to get accustomed to all the attention and they're like, I'm not giving my time to somebody I'm not really interested in. I'm not going to, lead just everybody on. Like it's only going to be a select few that can get through. Let me tell you what takes that to the next level. If they have a kid, that's when they become it only take one. That's when they become 50 times more understanding, patient, less flaky, and all of this shit. As far as most women that have one kid, that's when a lot of the games stop because they got this crying motherfucker that they got to deal with all the time. They don't really have time for dudes because, of course, she's a single fucking mom. She's with the kid all the time. Who knows if she even has a support system? If she don't got a support system, that makes it even more detrimental. So they have to be more meticulous about who they pick. And one of the things about it is that shit becomes stressful to a certain degree, and they're looking for a guy to save them, that they are not going to let discipline the kids and all that shit. So that is an element that is completely missing from Tracee's life. It's an element that is completely missing from her life. Also put in the fact that she was a celebrity as far as like getting all this money. She missed the boat on getting a guy. She has gotten to the point where she has never really needed a man. And that's one of the issues with a lot of this shit as far as women making money and stuff like that. They get to a point where they don't need a man and no man is good enough. So she's cooked. She's absolutely cooked. It's over. Forget about it. Put the turkey on the fucking top, the stove top, bro. Go and get the, knife, cut the turkey up. She's fucking cooked. It's over. She is incapable of having a long-term mate for a lot of reasons that I mentioned. But if we just boil it down to one thing, two things. Number one, she has never been in a position where she has needed a man. But when you make it to this point, this is the second thing. When you make it to this point in your development, as far as 52, even in your 40s, as a single woman, if you don't got a man by then, like a long-term man, or you haven't had one, you're too jaded to have one. You come with baggage. You come with a United Airlines plane worth of baggage that dudes have to shuffle through. And chicks like this will sit down and snap and clap. Oh, yeah, you dating younger dudes and stuff like that. Be the same ones shaming the older dudes for getting at younger chicks and having younger chicks. Because people like this, they know the truth. They know everything that I'm saying is true. They know that they are going to be more of a hassle to a man and they are not capable of being a man's piece, versus you got this younger chick who is more moldable. And that's how come they say all the, you manipulating it. Nobody wants to deal with all the headaches you gonna cause that are coming from your previous experiences with men that are not me, and the trauma that you got that you haven't sorted out and shit like that. And also just your entitlement, just all this other shit that you have like developed that makes you somebody that is not capable of bringing value to a man your age in a relationship. Because it's not even because you can't, it's because you're going to be unwilling. You're going to be very unwilling. And your psychological conditioning that you have been through over the years is going to be a brick wall that most dudes is not trying to break down. And we don't got to break that fucking wall down with a 27-year-old or a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old.
I'm sorry.
No,
Craig.
I was going to say, it's a generational thing. So it didn't matter how you met them, or is it just kind of the guys you're meeting?
That's obviously
too big of a generalization.
It's a generalization,
Yeah.
but because I have dated men my age, there is a difference. There is an openness that occurs with a younger man around whether it's gender fluidity or not even having an issue with homosexuality. I mean, something as basic as that.
Right, yeah.
That there's
No, I
times
hear you.
where I'll be, sitting across the table from somebody and just like, what did you just say?
Yeah, what century are you?
Like, oh my God.
Where's your horse and buggy?
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry.
And your bedpan.
Yeah, for real.
Chamber pot.
Yeah,
Your
your
chamber
chamber
pot.
pot. Your chamber pot. Like, where I'm just like, yeah, this is not a match.
So listen, we gonna touch on this homosexuality shit. I be wanting to do videos on this stuff, but it'd be too crazy as far as some of my takes. And yeah, I don't want the scrutiny to come with that. So I be chilling. I just leave that stuff completely alone. But you are going to get a little bit of it today. No diddy. But the reason that younger dudes have no issue at all with the gay stuff is because they have been indoctrinated the majority of their life. Let me say that again for y'all who don't understand. Younger dudes, don't let you be 20. Don't let you be 20. On the nose 20, you have been indoctrinated for 20 years when it comes to this stuff. If you were something like 27, 28, you've been indoctrinated for something like, at least 15 years. Actually longer than 15 years, like a little bit longer than 15 years. You've been indoctrinated to some degree. So I'm going to tell you how this works. Back then, MTV had a commercial, and it was in the 90s, right? It was in the late 90s, early 2000s, where all these white guys were coming up to the camera dropping F-bombs, right? This is on national TV, they're saying this, right? And it's basically anti-homophobia or homosexual hate, et cetera, et cetera. And even the term homophobia, it's like, that's the only phobia that is not linked to fear and is linked strictly to hatred. That's the funniest shit to me. But it's like words stop meaning things. But when you look at that, just the fact that that could air on TV, even though it's an anti-gay ad and stuff like that, it was okay to say that word. It was universally accepted. Styles P had a song that would age very badly. You can go and look it up. It's called Kill That F-Bomb. Not gonna say it. I'll be watching a movie from the 80s. There's a movie where like a caveman, it's a comedy movie, caveman came back, he came back to life or whatever, and he was going to high school. And in one of the last scenes in the movie, somebody drops the F-bomb and nobody thinks anything of it. So that's where we were as a society, to where it wasn't like there were people who absolutely hated gay people and would use those slurs against gay people and stuff like that. So that's what it was. But in a lot of cases, heterosexual people, as far as men, would say that to each other, you know, and it wouldn't even, in some cases, they would mean it like you were gay. But in other cases, they would just mean it like you were feminine, or, you know, you're a wuss, all that type of stuff. Like, you know, what, that's not even in my vocabulary. The word was, but that's such a 90s word, right? 2013, right? I am talking to this white chick. She is in another city. We chat for quite a while. We chatted for a good amount of time. One day, and I'm not talking about like, 3 months in, I'm talking about like probably a couple years in, I dropped the F-bomb, thinking nothing of it. What happened? She shamed me so bad. I thought I lost her. Like, I thought I lost a friend, a babe, however you want to put it, as far as that relationship that we had. I thought I lost her. She shamed me so bad for that. I had never been shamed for saying that word. And then I began to notice after that even publicly, it began to become more taboo. I was cleaning up one of my Twitter accounts a minute ago. I was deleting tweets and stuff like that. And I'm smart. I know that back then how the retweets used to work. Somebody would retweet and your tweet would be in it and stuff like that. And it's just a text and it got your screen name in it. So I searched my name with the F-bomb and stuff like that. Didn't find anything where somebody quoted me saying it, but I found my dude saying it back then. That's just to let you know, it used to fly all over the internet and it used to be fine. But we get to a point where you can't even say that on the internet. So this is what happened. And I'm going to keep, bro, we going deep. We going deep today. No diddy. We going to go a little deep. What happened, I've never had a real problem with gay dudes. So, but at the same time, that shit is disgusting. Just keeping it a beam. All heterosexual men know this. We not about the bullshit just because like 2% of women is watching. We know, every man knows what it is, bro. Even the women know what it is. Even the gay dudes know what it is, because when they want to shame a man, they all go to saying that the man is gay. Even then, black women especially, they do not want no DL man, dog. They don't want no gay. They be so disgusted by that, but they'll still try and, weaponize a gayness against you because they know it's disgusting. They know it. And they don't want a dude who's getting his booty busted, just keeping it real. But people, put on this farce and stuff like that. We're not going to go too deep on that. But what happens, this is what happens. I get through that and through other heterosexual women. I always tell people this, and I said this a couple times on the channel in videos that y'all don't watch, keeping it real. The real traction for the LGBTQ movement comes from heterosexual women, because the biggest, opposition to that shit would be heterosexual men to whatever degree. And the absolute shame that they have put on us for anything that looks like anything homophobic and trying to ostracize us and all of this stuff. It worked. It worked to where it is not socially acceptable anymore. Gay people did not do that on their own. They did not do that by themselves. The power came from the heterosexual, not the dyke vagina. It came from the heterosexual vagina and them being so empathetic, which is why I laugh anytime some 7-foot motherfucker goes and, starts wrestling women and wins the tournament, as far as a dude and shit like that. That shit is comedy to me, because this is what y'all advocated for. This is what y'all push. So think about that. I'm in my mid-30s. In 2013, I was in probably somewhere close to my early to mid-20s. We'll say my mid-20s in 2013. So I know, I'm not somebody who is okay, I'm very impressionable. I'm 6 years old. I'm 13 years old. No, I'm in my 20s. And I still got pressured into acceptance. So if you look at that, you look at somebody that's 22 right now, and they was 10 around the time that I started getting, they've been getting indoctrinated since they was 8 or something like that, or whatever age. They've been getting indoctrinated by society, by their schools. They even putting the gay stuff in the schools and stuff like that. They doing it with the kindergartners and stuff like that. They got the drag queen YouTube themselves, not YouTube, but Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon had the drag queen celebrating 25 years of Nick or something like that, and just putting it in front of the kids and stuff like that is crazy. Now, I want you to also know and remember that if you have any religious base, this is something that is evil. Now, the reason I say that is because I'm not about to sit here and act all the sex out of wedlock and stuff like that, all the sex without marriage and stuff like that. That's not supposed to be evil, regardless who you where you at and stuff like that. We not gonna act like lying is not supposed to be evil. Everybody sins. Everybody sins. So I'm not about to get up here and act like a saint. But the whole thing about this is an abomination. And I don't got listen, what you do with other motherfuckers, I don't care about that. You do what you want to do. You do what you want to do. But when heterosexual women advocate so mindlessly for everything LGBTQ, this right here on your screen is exactly the type of shit that happens. I don't want to go too deep because we've already went deep enough. Every man, and even a lot of women, because it's not a universal all women thing. There are some women who get it and they will admit it. That right there that I just put on your screen should never happen, for so many reasons that I don't want to get into, because I'm not just talking. There are cases where it has went absolutely tragically bad. Do you understand what I'm saying? Absolutely tragically bad. Listen, You know what them Catholics, come on, man. Come on, man. Do I gotta say it, dog? Do I gotta say it, bro? You know the vibes, man. You know what it is, man. So with that being said, bro, like every man that is heterosexual, that is not cucked out, that is not trying to appeal to their woman, that ain't got a woman over their shoulder, and is not trying to get coochie points, they know what it is, bro. They know what it is. I don't got no problem with what you do as far as like who you choosing and stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff like what I put on the screen, that is absolutely out of bounds. That is absolutely out of bounds. But when you look at the two women on the screen, we're not even going to talk about the dude in the middle because he's a man. When you look at Michelle is like, where's your horse and buggy? And you're just so outdated and da-da-da-da-da, because the latest software update is to accept that shit. The acceptance of that shit that I put on the screen is in the latest software update. They act like there's no angle to where anything is wrong with any of that shit. They think it's just all 100% right. And that's just what it is. Love wins. And listen, I don't know what the future holds, man. The country is kind of imploding. We are setting the trends for different societies, causing them to implode to some degree. I feel like this is something that I just really feel in a distant future, whether it be 200 years, 50 years. I'm not going to say 1,000 years, but it could be 1,000 years because we got history from 1,000 years ago. And this is me keeping it so real with you. I need you to grip onto your fucking seat when I say this shit. And I mean this shit with all my fucking heart. The U.S. is going to be a case study in the distant future of what happens to a society when you let women get too much power. I don't give a fuck how it makes you feel. This shit is already fascinating. If you just go and look at the Tinder statistics and stuff like that, if future societies are honest with themselves, if they're honest with themselves, they're going to see it and it will be studied.
Yeah. And I have long been past the age where I feel like it's my job to teach somebody or grow them up. Yeah. That I'm not interested in. So, but it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different philosophies on dating, and I have come up with mine. I have come up with what works for me and what makes sense for me and what feels safe for me. Yep. You know, I mean, like I'm not on dating apps. I have friends that have great success with dating apps, but
I had enough for today, man, and I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I gave y'all something that these other motherfuckers not gonna give you, man. They not gonna give it to you, dog. They not gonna give it to you the way I just gave it to you. I watch all these niggas reaction videos, bro. They not giving it up the way I'm giving it up. I'm sorry, they just not. So I'll see. I don't even got nothing to say about her not being on dating apps, man. Y'all got some good content today, man. Let me know your thoughts. I am gone.